Everybody, welcome back to Mohawk Motors. My name is Jason. Man, it's been a while. It's been a busy summer, team. We've been on a couple trips. I've been doing stuff around the house, getting the camper taken care of. We got a new camper. Had to make some repairs on that because it wasn't worth taking it back to the dealership to get that done, especially not worth the amount of headache that they give you trying to get things fixed under warranty. And chipped away at this thing a little bit too. You can see I've got a little bit of a parts pile here on the floor, AC condenser, charcoal canister. I think that's the factory air intake that goes behind the grill, some jack stuff, engine up on the stand, and some of my parts came. Some stuff just, we needed it no matter what, right? New motor mounts, the frame side of the motor mounts. The truck didn't come with any, so I've got those to match the factory style clamshells on my ICT billet motor mount adapters. You can see I've got a battery tray here. This is it's a replacement part. It's not an OEM, but it's a driver's side battery tray. The truck has the passenger side battery tray in it, but to make my life easier and keep a battery in the same location that it would have been in the GMT 800 that the engine and transmission came out of, I find it's easier and it's worth the 40 bucks to just buy that driver's side battery tray. And then I don't have to do any screwing around with the wire harness. The ground cable will reach, the positive cable will reach. I can keep my fuse panel located over here on the driver's side. Makes it easier. So I got that. And I've got this thing more or less prepped to get the engine and transmission poked down into it. I'm gonna sit my motor mounts here on their little brackets and then lower this thing down and see if we can't get it wiggled down in here. It's a tight fit, but I think we can make it. So let's give it a shot. Well, everybody, as you can tell, I am soaked in sweat, but it's in there. I've got my motor mounts and adapters and everything all bolted in on each side. As I was getting it lined up, I realized that all the way forward position moves the engine way back, and I wanted it stock. I had it flipped. So I did have to move the clamshells to the rearmost position, which is the stock engine positioning, and that's got it right where I want it. It clears the engine cross member. From the factory, this little rubber breather runs over top of the cross member. I ran it underneath so it's not pinched between the oil pan and the cross member, and I'll get a little clamp on it just so it doesn't rub against the edge of that cross member there and get chafed through. The transmission cross member is bolted up underneath. There are actually two holes that lined up with the transmission cross member holes. So I was able to get those two bolts in and then just use the remaining two holes. Cross member has two bolts on each frame rail, and then just use the cross member as my guide to get the other two bolt holes drilled through the frame and bolted up. So it is actually legitimately bolted into position here, and it fits pretty darn well. I'm happy with it. That was my goal for the day. Get it in the truck, get it bolted in, and man, I'm kind of tired of being real hot and real sweaty, so I'm gonna go inside and cool off for a while. But well, next time I'm down here, I'll pick you up and we'll keep going. We'll make some more progress on this thing. All right, everybody. Let's try to get some momentum going here. It's been a week and a half, 2 weeks since that last clip when I was working on the K5 over there. You can see I've got the blue single cab in the workshop. I'm leaning up on this white extended cab. It's, to be honest with you guys, I wanted a break from the workshop. We started and finished some projects around the house, did some landscaping stuff that's needed to get done, spent a lot of time with the family. I think we've been on a couple trips since my last video, camping trips and a trip to the beach and some other stuff. I can't remember if I put it in or not, but I sold the silver 2500 HD with the manual transmission. I sold the silver single cab that I had just done the rockers and cab corners on. Both of those are with new owners. And I think I'm ready to get cracking down here in the workshop again. Let's start here. I got the blue single cab in. We're gonna come back to this in a minute, but I sold all my other little ride around trucks, the silver single cab, the silver 2500 HD, and that leaves me with only my 2017 Duramax truck on the road right now. And I don't like driving that just for day-to-day stuff, especially if it's me by myself. When I'm taking the kids places, sure, but when I have places to go by myself, I prefer to drive one of my little fun trucks. So I pulled this thing out of the mothballs, getting it ready to go through inspection and tying up some loose ends on it. I've got this white 2500 HD in here. This is a 2003. It's a 6-liter automatic 4-wheel drive. This one is actually my sister-in-law's truck. Her and her fiance, recent fiance, congratulations again, guys. They recently got a camper and they need their own truck to tow it with. They've been borrowing my father-in-law's red 2500 HD. I think you've seen that in a few videos in the past. It's got an 8.1 and an Allison transmission. They've been borrowing that truck for the first little bit of towing their camper around, but they want to have their own truck. And I think the 6-liter 4L80 truck, this is going to suit their needs a little bit more, because it'll be primarily like a to and from Home Depot, occasional junkyard trip truck, and towing the camper 5-6 times a year. So this will get a little bit better gas mileage. Their camper, I think it's only an 18 or a 20-foot camper, so they really don't need the 8.1. The 6-liter is more than capable of towing the camper. I think they had it up here last weekend, and it's only like a 7,500 pound camper. So this truck is more than capable of towing that thing around safely. I'm going over it top to bottom, make sure everything is 100% tip-top, full fluid service, engine, transmission, transfer case, front and rear differentials. We're doing fresh fluids in those. I've checked all the brakes. We're gonna put rear pads and rotors on it, parking brake cables, a full tune-up, spark plugs, wires, fuel filter, air filter, all of that stuff. And then a few other little knickknacks and odds and ends that I'm gonna get fixed up for her too. So this thing is 100% capable, solid, and they can be confident anytime they're driving this thing anywhere. And that'll probably be next video you see. I'll go into more detail on this. But I think what I'm gonna get into on this video, and probably what will wrap this video up, I'd like to get it published for you guys so you know that I'm alive, is the blue single cab here. If you've been here for a while, you remember this truck. This is a 2007 Classic. I bought it from a gentleman, I think 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago. It was originally a V6 truck, but had power windows, power locks, etc., etc. And converted it to a full center console, converted it to power driver seat, Nice captain seats. Put an aftermarket head unit in it. Did I mention that I converted it to a V8? It's got a L33 5.3 in it. If you're not familiar, the L33 is kind of like the best Gen 3/4 5.3 you can get. It's still a 24X reluctor and a 1X cam, but it's got the better 799 heads, it's got the better connecting rods, it's got the better late design pistons, and it's a good running engine. I really like this thing. A lot of pep. I swapped a 410 rear differential into this thing with a Yukon Duragrip posi traction. And one of the things that I have not completed since I V8 swapped it is I have not gotten cruise control hooked up in this thing. One of the things that I like about the later drive-by-wire engines is their cruise control system is very simple because it's all on the computer. There's no additional cruise control module, none of that stuff. But because this truck did not originally have cruise control, I'm having to add a bit to it to get cruise control hooked up. And I've hit a good stopping point that I can show you and try to explain this, right? So under the hood, the body harness does still have the plug, the connector that would have gone to the cruise control module for the drive-by cable V6. And I need this because this is going to bring the signal from the column out here to the engine compartment. And I'm going to take a couple wires from this connector and splice them into a couple wires from the TAC module. And then I'm going to have all the information I need to tell the PCM, hey, I want to maintain this speed. I'd like to increase speed. I'd like to decrease speed. So we'll get to that side in a minute. I actually, not very long ago, did this same job in the silver single cab. But that truck had originally had cruise control. So this is a little bit different. But what I'm working on now, you can see I've got the steering column a little bit apart and some of the underdash wiring taken apart. I've got a windshield washer / cruise control switch, a multifunction switch. That's what I'm looking for. I have a multifunction switch from a truck that came with cruise control. I believe any 05 to 03 to 07 classic multifunction switch will work. I don't even remember what year this one's out of, but it's the same as what's in here. It just has cruise control. And I've got a little pigtail out of one of my other parts trucks here. So the main difference, obviously, is the cruise control functionality. And you can see on this one with cruise control, it has this little harness that comes out of the side with 4 little wires in it that goes into a connector that is the truck side. And my column harness right here, you can see the multifunction switch doesn't have that additional little 4-wire harness coming out of it. And I don't have the other half of the connector that goes into my steering column harness here. So I've taken that harness, that little pigtail that I need out of one of my parts trucks. We're gonna get it pinned into this small connector here in the middle. And it's only the 4 wires, like I said. I wrote down the pins. Gray with a black tracer goes to B1, dark blue goes to B10, brown to B18, gray to B32. Very simple. So I'll pop this out and I'll show you how I get these wires pushed back in here real quick. I'm gonna do the best I can for you here, boys and girls. I'm not trying to take this whole thing out. So this little centerpiece pushes down out of the main connector there. And we've got on the bottom side these little blue retainers. And to undo these, I'm going to take my pick. There's a little access hole. You stick your pick in there, pry out. The little blue retainer comes out. Now on this side, I need B18 gets the brown wire. Oh, not the wrong way. That was the wrong way. There we go, click. And B32 gets the solid gray. There we go. And I'll put my little retainer back in. Slide out the other retainer. Now on this one, dark blue goes to B10. And gray with a black tracer goes to B1. And I'll put this retainer back in. There we go. 20 minutes of me taking stuff apart to just do that 38 seconds worth of putting stuff back together with what I need. And now I'll get it all put back together and I'll swap out my multi-function switch, and then I should be able to move on to the engine side. Well, I'm fairly confident, since that plug is on the firewall that would have originally connected to a cruise control module, is that from this side of the connector to that plug, the wiring is there. GM just uses one harness. But what I was missing is this little jumper and the steering column harness, and obviously the multifunction switch with that function built into it. And from what I can see, matching things up in here, at least as best I can, the pins are in this side of the connector to meet those 4 wires I just added. So I think it'll work. We'll find out. We'll all find out together once I get it all hooked up, if I don't have cruise control. So I'm gonna start putting everything back together. I'll bring you guys back in a little bit when we're ready to work on the engine, the firewall side of this little project. And voila, all back together. That part really not difficult. Just take it apart, add that little pigtail, put it back together, change out the multifunction switch. No big deal there. Now, the underhood part, this part, now that I've done it 4 times, 5 times, this part really is not difficult either. So from my TAC module, I've got this connector that runs into the engine harness down here, right? And it's this gray connector. There's only 2 connectors on the TAC module. You need the gray one. I'm gonna take 3 wires out of the back of this. A gray wire, light gray, dark blue, and light gray with a black tracer. Then I have 3 wires that I need out of the connector that would have gone to a V6 cruise control module. And that is also a light gray, a dark blue, and a light gray with a black tracer. And then I'm going to take the wires from this one, connect them to the wires from this one, plug this back in, stick this back out of the way, and I should have functioning cruise control. All they are is signals, guys. One of them, it's a momentary switch. When you press it, it tells the computer, turn the cruise control on. The next one is a momentary switch. When you press it, it says, turn the cruise control off. And the third one is cruise control 6. It says, hold this speed or slow down. Very simple. I have some nice Deutsch connectors. I have a nice little 3-pin Deutsch connector. So I'll go ahead and do my wire connecting, swapping, tidy it all up, put it back together, and bring it back. It'll be like I was never there. Boom. Can you tell I was there? Does it look like anything happened? You can see my little gray Deutsch connector down there. But that's it. Otherwise, can't tell I was ever here. And that's how I like to do it. So, well, it's like 10:30, but I'm gonna take this thing out on a test drive and see if it works. And when I get back, I'll let you know. Well, I just got back and the cruise control does not work. So tomorrow I'll dig into it a little further, figure out maybe it's as simple as that multifunction switch I had is not good, or maybe the wiring isn't run from that steering column connector out here to the cruise control module connector like I was hoping it was. I'll be able to test it. I can do a simple, I can test it with the multimeter and see if I have continuity. So that'll be tomorrow's project though. I'm gonna call it for tonight. It's after 11. I'm gonna go in and get some sleep. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I just thought about it. It's like 3 minutes later. I just thought about it. I realized why it didn't work. Because I connected the wires incorrectly. My connector, the side that goes to the TAC module harness, I connected to the wires that go to the PCM. I needed to connect to the wires going into the TAC module. And I foolishly cut those wires in that connector very, very short. So I'm gonna have to look tomorrow and see if I have a spare TAC module connector that has the wires in it that I need, that are longer, and then I'm gonna need to get them spliced in the correct direction. That's where I screwed up. I'm pretty sure that's where I screwed up. So, not a huge deal. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And I'm sure I've got a parts truck around here somewhere with that connector that I can steal the 3 wires out of it that I need and get them put in. And it'll be good as no. You never know that I did anything wrong. Well, it's still the same evening. It's 30 minutes later. I couldn't go to bed thinking I knew what was wrong and what a simple fix it would be. So, I dug out a spare harness that had the connector that I need. This guy pulled out the 3 wires that I needed. Got them inserted into the connector in the truck. Got the pigtail run out to my Deutsch connector. Got the Deutsch connector on, got it all hooked up, took it for a test drive, and cruise control works flawlessly now, team. So, there she is. It's got cruise control now, and I can actually officially say after, I think it's been 3 years. After 3 years, the V6 to V8 conversion on this truck is finished. Everything that needed to be hooked up is hooked up. Everything's done, connected, working, functioning as if this truck came from the factory with a V8, the way it should have been the whole time. That, you know the expression, the last 20% of the work takes 80% of the time? Man, sometimes it really gets you. This was like the last 2% of the work. Took the longest amount of time. I really don't know why I procrastinated doing it for so long. It's really not that bad. But it's done now. I'm going to bed happy. I'll see you guys tomorrow. It's the next evening, everybody. I'm actually getting ready to go up for the evening. I've been down here an hour and a half, 2 hours. I've gotten some stuff done. I'm trying to get back into a rhythm here, and I figured I'll come down, I'll get a little bit done on a couple things, and then get to bed early since I was up so late last night. So I worked on the K5. I've got the transfer case in. Everything bolted together, sealed up. That's ready for drive shafts. I'm thinking, hoping the front drive shaft might be okay how it is. I'm just gonna need to get a new universal joint. We'll see. It may not have enough slip in it to make up the difference in length of the 4L80 versus the truck that came out of had a turbo 400 in it. So I have to see what the difference in length is. I may not have enough length there. We'll see. And the rear drive shaft, I'm definitely gonna have to get shortened because this is out of a K20 pickup, and that definitely is not the same amount of space from output yoke to input yoke as a K20. But that's a problem for down the road. The thing doesn't even run yet, so we're not gonna worry about that for a little while. I also got my sister-in-law's truck up in the air, and I started draining the fluids out of it. I'm gonna let it drain overnight, get as much as I possibly can out of the engine and front differential. Parts and fluids have started to arrive for it, so I can get started on getting this thing up to 100% ship shape and ready to go. And like I said, a little bit of progress on 2 things, and I'm happy with that. I'm calling it for the night. I'll probably come back down tomorrow and do a little bit more. So see you guys then. It's the next evening, everybody. Back down in the workshop, and I'm actually just giving you an end of the evening update again. I'm using this as kind of a hold myself accountable video this time. I'm not doing anything super exciting or super complicated, but I'm getting down here and I'm getting stuff done. And maybe this will help motivate you to get out in the workshop or get out in the driveway or whatever the case may be and get some stuff done on your projects. Because I've been struggling with motivation recently. But I'm just trying to get myself down here and get back into a rhythm and get going on stuff again. So I've been down about 3 hours. Came down after we got the kids in bed, and here's what I've gotten done. I got the 2 rearmost parking brake cables replaced on my sister-in-law's truck. So we got new on this side, new on that side. And while I was at it, I lubricated the parking brake mechanisms and worked those a whole bunch to get them moving freely again. It's a common issue. It's a very simple mechanism, but they do tend to seize up, especially when people don't use them often. So I've got those moving freely again like they should be. I got the transmission pan dropped, and honestly, that chewed up a good bit of time. I had one bolt, this one here, it was stuck so tight. I have never had a transmission pan bolt as tight as this one was. I don't know why it was that tight, but it was tight. I had to put some heat on it. I wound up kind of melting the reusable transmission pan gasket. Fortunately, I had a spare one here, so I can get that in there and put it all back together tomorrow evening. But I did get it off. I got the pan dropped, I've got the fluid drained, and you can see the filter here. The filter it was dirty. I think someone's been replacing the fluid in this thing because the pan has definitely been off before. There was RTV on the gasket surface on the pan, so somebody has had it off, but I think it's been a while, and I suspect it's probably because that pan bolt was stuck, because that filter was dirty. And what else? I got the drain plug put back in the front differential. I haven't refilled that yet. I got the drain plug back in the oil pan. Haven't refilled that yet. I'm just gonna get all the fluids out and then refill everything all in one shot. And that's honestly that's it. It doesn't sound like a lot, but some of this stuff is challenging. Getting the old parking brake cables out can be a bit of a hassle. And you can see these are, that one was completely through the sheathing. You can see the cable through the spiral core right there. So that one definitely didn't have much time left. And this one wasn't a whole lot better. You can see it's all rubbed through the sheathing and flaking rust. So that one didn't have much time left either. They were working, but I don't want her to have any concerns. I want them to be able to drive this thing from Florida to Maine, from Maryland to California, and not worry about anything. So wanted to get those squared away. And I think that's, like I said, that's all I got done tonight. I did get the transmission pan cleaned up. It's ready to go back on tomorrow. And I'm calling it. Tomorrow evening we'll come back down. I'm still expecting a few more parts to get here. And we'll see what we can get done tomorrow and then wrap this video up. So, I'll see you guys then. All right, everybody, we're back. It's a couple nights later. I have been getting stuff done. I drove that truck around today just to make sure everything is good. She's solid. Lights are all good, blah, 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 etc. That thing's ready for inspection day after tomorrow on Friday. Yesterday evening, I was down here and I was editing video for you guys. And I was actually editing this video that I'm gonna finish now. And then you'll be able to, you should see this on Saturday. So I wanna wrap it up. And I realized this video has been all over the place. We worked on the Blazer, we worked on the Silverado, we worked on my sister-in-law's truck, and I've been chipping away at her truck too. So I've got all my fluid service done. I've got the engine oil changed, transmission oil and filter changed, engine oil filter too, obviously. Transfer case drained and refilled, front differential drained and refilled. The rear diff, I have not refilled it yet because I'm waiting on parts. This side, when I did the parking brake cable, good. Dust plate, dust shield looks okay. But this side, dust shield is missing. Now where I am in Pennsylvania, I haven't come across anybody that cares about dust shields. But where she is in Maryland and needs to get this truck inspected, they have busted me for dust shields before an inspection. So I'm waiting on new dust shields to get here. In order to replace those, the axles need to come out, the hubs need to come off, the brakes need to come off, etc., to replace those dust shields. So there's no sense in me refilling this thing with oil yet because I still got to have the differential open and pull these axle shafts out. So I'll fill it up once I have everything back together. And what I'm working on tonight and what I'm going to wrap this video up with is a fuel filter. You can see up here we've got what appears to be a factory fuel filter on this thing. And this truck is a 2003, which is the last year that GM used a fuel filter in the fuel line on the gas trucks. So I've been soaking it for the past couple days with penetrating lube. That's what you see on there. I'm really hoping that the fittings will loosen and it'll come apart without having to replace a bunch of fuel lines. So we're gonna do that. And then I've got new bump stops for the front because I've been busted on inspections for bump stops also. You gotta have it. So I think I'll set you guys up and you can watch me either fail or succeed at getting this fuel filter replaced without screwing up the fuel lines and having to do a whole bunch of extra stuff. All right, folks. Well, here we go. We're gonna see the front looks way rustier than the rear. So I'm gonna try my luck on the rear first. Of course, I don't have line wrenches that are the right size, so I'm using regular box end wrenches, which is not ideal. Oh, hot dog, it moved. Okay, now will it come all the way off? Also, I have not relieved the fuel pressure on this, so I'm going to get this to the point that it starts to leak. Hopefully that will relieve all the fuel pressure. Maybe. Okay, there we go. Wasn't much pressure in there. Okay, rear off. That's half the battle. That was also the one that looked like it was more likely to come off. So now, will we be lucky twice? Or am I about to be replacing a fuel line? Man, this is crusty. Come on, baby, be good to me. Oh, that's tightening. I need to loosen. That's too far apart. Here we go. Alright, come on. You're good and lubricated. You can come loose here. Man, that one feels smaller. Maybe the line wrench will fit. Oh, there we go. That feels promising. Oh yeah, there we go. Alright. Alright, come on. Come on. Oh, that's not moving. Oh, I feel like we're gonna have a problem here. And I don't even need the line to spin, the fitting to spin on the line because the rear came loose. I just need the filter to spin on the fitting. Oh, man. She's not moving. Not ideal. Definitely not ideal. We need to replace this filter. It's not like I can heat this up. I mean, I guess I could use the heat gun and warm it, but I can't put any kind of flame under here. Honestly, the heat gun would make me nervous. Oh, jeez. Oh, I don't feel like this is going to go the way I want it to. I do have some good line up here, so it's not like I won't be able to repair it. I just really didn't want to do that. Oh, she's rounding. Oh, man. What else can we try here? Wipe it off, spray some different penetrating oil on it, and let it sit a bit longer. I kind of feel like that's all we can do at this point. Trying a little bit more. Come on. Oh, man. Whew. How are you so seized? Alright, we're going to let that soak for a little bit. Maybe it'll help. I'm going to let it soak a little bit while I do the bump stops in the front. Alright, well, I've managed to round off the little fitting on the nut. And somehow the line still hasn't started leaking, which I'm shocked, but I'm also not having any luck getting this thing to. Oh, did it just go? Oh, it went. It went! Hooray! It's spinning. Now the real tickler here is going to be, once I get this filter off, is the rest of this fuel line in good enough condition that I feel okay leaving it, or am I going to end up replacing it anyway because it's rusted all the shit. Excuse me, all the poop. Definitely looks like a OEM filter to me. Probably never been changed, which is not ideal. And the O-ring has fallen off of this rear fitting now, which is also, I would say, arguably even more not ideal. Oh, there it is. I found that. That's good. It's just, oh, that O-ring's cut anyway. Even better. Perfect. Alright, let's get this cleaned off here. Let's see if it's going to hold up for us. Oh, actually, this thing is actually not. The line itself isn't rusted terribly. Alright, I think the line is okay. What are the odds this new filter came with some new O-rings? 0%. So we've got our new filter here. Yep. Alright, let's get this. So we're going to have to, obviously, install is going to be opposite of removal. This a little bit straighter. Yeah, we can. There we go. You get back up there where you belong. Spin the filter, just threading on, excellent. Hey, even the same size. Hold this fitting again. There we go. We're going to tighten our filter onto it. Bloop. Alright, she's tight. Now this thing. That O-ring has a gouge out of it. Probably can't see that. It looks like it got pinched when they assembled it. I think I might have another one over here. Okay. Don't have another O-ring. I'm going to put this one back in. We'll know pretty quickly if it leaks. Stay straight there, little O-ring. here. And now we're gonna hose this down with brake clean so everything gets dry and we can tell if we have a leak. Okay, we're gonna let that dry while we do some other stuff, and we'll see if we have a leak. Well, folks, it's leaking. You see we've got a drip there. Dry. See it getting wet again. There it is. And I haven't even pressurized the system yet. That's just whatever's running back down from up at the engine. So we need to make a repair here. I think my best bet is to see if I can't find just a section of line that already has the flared end on it. Because this nut is seized to the line, so we're not going to be able to use that. So maybe if we can find a repair section and we can put a union up here, because we've got nice clean line over here. We can do a union to a repair section into the filter, because I do want to keep the filter. So I'll have to do some looking and see if somebody makes something, or if I'm gonna have to make it myself. So do some research. I guess that's as good a time as any to just wrap this video up so I can finish it and get it uploaded for you guys. So I'll pick the camera back up. We're going out of town this weekend on a camping trip, so I probably won't even get back down here in the workshop until the following week. It might be a week or two until you see the next video, but you will see one. I'm not gone, I'm not giving up, I'm trying to only show you stuff that's somewhat worth watching. So, appreciate all of you, thanks for watching, and until the next video, take care.